Hello there, I am Brit, aka Dark Shades, and I am hailing from the east of England into your homes, onto your phones. Welcome to my channel. And if you like what I talk about, please click the like button and you can click the subscribe button. And for my existing subscribers, thank you for sticking with me. And thank you for your likes and your comments. Today I wanted to talk about love bombing, and we often hear from it from a male perspective, but I wanted also to give a female perspective of it. I wanted to explain what it is and how you can get caught out by it. And the reason why I called it, is it an Aries or is it a love bomb, is because Aries, they portray similar traits to a love bomber. The only thing with an Aries is that an Aries tends to be impetuous. They're coming from a sincere place. If they like somebody, they go all in. Nothing stops them. They are determined. They know straight off, or they believe they know straight off, this is the one I want. And because this is the one they want, they pursue and they run down and they do what they need to do to get the object of their affection. The difference is between an Aries, who is coming from an open and honest place, and a love bomber, is that love bombers are more manipulative. And then we also have love bombers from a narcissistic standpoint, and we have love bombers from an insecure attachment standpoint. So I'm going to cover all three, and I hope it makes sense for you. And I'm going to read from my notes, because that's the only way I cover everything I plan to cover. So, is he an Aries or is he a love bomber? Aries are renowned for their impetuous behavior. They jump in relationships. They tend to jump in relationships head first, depending on which part of the decan they are. They declare their love within moments of meeting you. They know what they want. You're the one. And yes, it's similar to what a love bomber does. Are they future faking? Love bombers tend to make promises in the future. Oh, we're going to get married. Oh, we're going to buy a house together. We're going to set up a business together. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it's just to rope you in. That's not an Aries. That's a love bomber. So when a woman meets a love bomber, they believe that this man has jumped from heaven. They believe that he's everything that they've ever wanted. And like I said, don't get them confused with Aries, because otherwise, if you meet an Aries and he displays those kind of traits, you're going to think he's a love bomber, and then you're going to withdraw. I mean, if you're compatible with an Aries and you don't mind the way his endearment and his passion, it's fine, go ahead. But a love bomber is more unhealthy, and they have an agenda, which is totally different from the Aries. Okay, Aries are spontaneous, courageous, optimistic, ambitious, intentional, determined, passionate, confident, driven by desire. They fall in love quickly, and it can easily be mistaken for love bombing. But with Aries, they fall in love quickly, and they can also fall out of love just as quickly. The only big difference is that Aries tend to be quite open and honest, and when they meet somebody they are attracted to and want in their lives, they go all out, which could be mistaken for love bombing, which is what I mentioned. What is love bombing? Love bombing was first labelled in the 1970s in a speech by the founder of the Unification Church, Sun Myung Moon, to describe the way pastors used to love bomb new converts in their congregation to keep them in church. Love bombing is persuading through excessive attention and care in order to influence the individual's choice. So can you imagine? You're minding your own business, you're on your own, you have this ideal of the type of man that you want. This man comes floating in and he starts saying, look, you know, I can help you, I can help pay your rent, I'll do all the washing for you, I'll clean the house, I'll tidy up, I'll do your gardening, I'm going to do your fence. If you need me to babysit, I'll babysit. If you want me to take the dog for a walk, I can do that. Can you imagine meeting somebody who will say all of that? But love bombers do that. They kind of know what women want, and that is what they give them, what they think women want. So, those people who have an understanding nature, who are helpful and caring, tend to fall victim to love bombers because they judge people as they judge themselves and cannot imagine that a love bomber has an ulterior motive. Now, you can get people who are quite caring and sensitive and thoughtful and considerate, and some people call them empaths, and they're more likely to attract a narcissistic love bomber because, like I said, you know, if you're coming from a place of sincerity, you tend to judge people as you judge yourself. So if you're sincere, you're not going to think somebody's trying to pull their wool over your eyes, are you? So when an empath observes behaviours similar to themselves, they let down their guard and their boundaries become porous. Love bombers come over as magical, confident, charming and chivalrous, and happy to appear to be what every woman wants and loves. Those who fall prey to love bombers tend to need validation, reassurance, because they fall short of self-love. So most people who get pulled into the charms of a love bomber are those who do not know how to look after themselves. They tend to need other people to make them feel good, to admire them, to put them on a pedestal. That's what they need. So they're prime for the love bomber. So love bombers offer the victims what they don't give to themselves in the beginning. They offer massages, dates, presents, flowers, generous gestures and grandiose expressions. I mean, they literally sweep you off your feet. That's what they do, and they know how to do it. So, and I never realised I love bombed, i.e. I offered love and commitment based on the 5% I knew about the person. The remaining 95% was left to my idealised image of him, i.e. his potential. Offering too much attention, compliments too soon, when the individual had not earned it. And so I'm a Libra, tend to be quite a romantic. I romanticize everything. And so if I meet somebody I like, I know how difficult it is for men to kind of not want to be rejected. I mean, you do have some who are confident, but the ones who are confident can be a little bit a-hole-ish. So what I tend to do is, if I am interested in someone, I tend to let them know I'm interested, and I do what I need to do to let them know I'm interested. Now, that could be perceived as love bombing if I keep saying, "Oh, you're wonderful, you're a lovely person." I'm validating them, I'm reassuring them, I'm making them feel as though when they say, "Oh, you know, I don't look that great," or why would you want to be with me? I'm like, you know, it's the character of the person. You're a lovely person, blah, blah, blah. And giving them all the compliments. But what happens is that if after a while that is not reciprocated, I just think, oh, well, it's the wrong person. I'm off. But what the thing is that when you show interest in a person and that person takes it seriously, because everybody has an interpretation of the word love. Some people say, I love you, and it's quite flippant. It doesn't have no depth, really. Some people say, I love you, and it means that I'll kill for you. I'll do anything for you. I won't betray you. I won't hurt you. Other people say, I love you. It's just like, you know, getting a bag of chips. I'll have a bag of chips. I'll have a bag of love. But depending on who you're saying I love you to, the expectations from that declaration are going to be different. So if I was to say I love you to somebody who takes love very seriously, that could be quite devastating if that love doesn't stand the test of time. And that love is what could be considered superficial. So, because some people think if you love them, you'll love them regardless. regardless of their flaws, regardless of their shortcomings. And yes, if you're in a marriage, and if you are with somebody from the get-go, or even if I think people should be very, very careful about the word love, because unless the person you're saying it to understands you're on the same wavelength, what does love mean? When you say you love me, what does that mean? And they might say, oh, well, I think you're great. I think you're wonderful. You really make me feel good. However, if the person says, why, what does love mean to you? Well, it means I'll never betray you. I'll never hurt you. I'll never leave you. That's what it means to me. I don't care if your teeth fall out. I don't care if your hair falls out. I don't care if, what happens. I'm going to love you regardless. That's a totally different definition of love. The two definitions, they're the same word, but depending on somebody's past, depending on what somebody's interpretation of it, is going to be interpreted differently. So, love bombers don't understand the gravity of their words. You are the person I want to be with means different things to different people. One person might construe this to mean I'm the person you want to be with regardless of my shortcomings, while the love bomber might mean you're the ideal person I want to be with as long as you remain ideal. Likewise, I love you means different things to different people. For many, I love you are not throwaway words. They are spoken with caution and they hold a deep meaning. I love you could mean I won't betray you, I won't leave you, reject you, or abandon you. I would risk my life for you. If a love bomber uses the words I love you too frivolously to a person who has the former definition, when the love bomber gets up and leaves for a minor indiscretion, it can leave the love bombed devastated. I thought she loved me. How could she love me if, and you fill in the blanks. Love bombers don't mean to be disingenuous. They tend to put on the lovey-dovey stuff trying to establish a connection. And depending on how their declarations are accepted will determine whether the relationship develops. Love you, baby, on Monday and ghost you on Thursday. It's as though you didn't exist. That's what love bombers do. They can wrap you all up in the whirlwind and then disappear. And that leaves the love bombed wondering if they imagined the interaction at all. Did it happen? How did it happen? How did it come and go so quickly? Can't play games with love bombers. Need to be all in just as they are. You need to be open to take the risk. And the thing is with love bombers is that in that moment, the love bombing, unless they're narcissistic, of course, because like I said, you have love bombers who come from an insecure attachment perspective. And if they're coming from that, then if they love bomb you and they really believe that you are the one, then they're honest in that declaration. However, if they're coming from an insecure attachment and they're love bombing you and they're not getting that reassurance and they're not getting anything back and they don't feel as though you feel the same way as they do, they're going to withdraw because they're going to feel rejected and they're going to feel as though, no, I'm not going to put all my energy into this because I'm going to get hurt. So, whereas the narcissistic love bomber is a different kettle of fish. Very deliberate, manipulative. They're out to get what they want to get. Really, the narcissistic love bomber just wants to get you into their clutches, get you to depend on them because they do all of these things for you up front, whether it's to pay your bills, whether it's to clean your house, whether it's to babysit, whether it's to cat sit, whether it's to take you on holiday, whatever it is, they overdo it so you get a dependency on them. And then when you get that dependency on them, that's the time they draw the rug from underneath your feet. And that's the time that they hold you hostage and you end up feeling obligated and guilty. And that's the time they start mistreating you. And you're kind of already glued to the attachment and don't know how to get out of it. And this is the time when the abuse starts. Love bombers who are insecurely attached are trying to convince themselves that they love you, as well as convince you that they do. Love bombers who are insecurely attached are yours if you'll have them. But if they sense reservations, they take this as rejection and withdraw their love. When the insecurely attached love bombers demonstrate passion and interest, they are not in love at that point, but they demonstrate it because they want you to feel that way about them. They need reassurance, otherwise the love diminishes. However, it has already created a false sense of security in the love bond, when the emotional declaration was based on how they were feeling in that moment. Belief he is the one translates into action, but insufficient evidence or information means it doesn't last. It's superficial. The narcissistic love bomber is trying to manipulate. They tell the person, what they want to hear, and is the quickest way to gain influence over an unsuspecting mind. Narcissistic love bombers demonstrate emotional immaturity, claims to be victimized to elicit sympathy or rescue impulses in order to manipulate. And with a love bomber, you'll find that they say, oh, I'm getting kicked out of my house. Oh, my next door neighbor is always making a noise. I don't get on with them. Oh, I don't get on with my children. They don't want me to live with them. They always come up with an excuse or something bad that's happened to them. And everybody has done something bad to them. Everybody is taking advantage of them. And this is to appeal to your rescue psyche. But what's happened to them explains their behavior, but does not excuse it. They go on about everything that everybody's done to them to elicit sympathy. And then most of us women, we are givers, we are carers, and we're more likely to want to jump in and rescue. Oh, you seem like such a nice person. You can come and stay with me if you're having all this problem at your house. That's what some women will do. That's what some women will say, depending on their circumstances. They'll rescue. And as soon as that woman does that, especially too quickly, it's like, gotcha. Once they get that key, they know that they've got you. And they'll carry on all this nice thing for a couple of months. They need to make sure you're drawn in properly. They need to make sure that they've isolated you from your friends, because all of a sudden your friends don't have your back. Your friends don't mean you any good. All of a sudden, if anything, if they can try to get you not to work, they'll try to get you not to work. They want you to be totally dependent on them so that they have full control. And they come from a place of insecurity as well. So it doesn't help. They need you to make them feel better. But it wouldn't seem that way when you're in it. So narcissistic love bombers demonstrate emotional immaturity. They claim to be victimized of illicit sympathy or rescue impulses in order to manipulate. And narcissistic love bombers pretend to enjoy the same hobbies, feelings, beliefs and values to trick their way into trusting and loving them. So have you ever been in a relationship where you say, oh, I love watching, like say me, for example, I love watching Married at First Sight. So what a love bomber would say, you just happen to say, oh, or they hear you talking to your friends about Love at First Sight, Married at First Sight, and they'll say, oh, Married at First Sight, oh, I love that program. I watch it all the time. And you can, and instead of you just sitting there and watching it with them. You need to test them and say, why? What part of it do you like? Who won the last one? See if it's true. You say, oh, I like to go to walk. Oh, I love walking. And then down the line, you find that, oh, I'm too tired to walk. I don't want to walk. Oh, you go and walk. You go and walk by yourself. I can't be asked. Everything that they said that they were interested in you to get you on side, all of a sudden they flip the switch. They're not interested in anymore. And you end up doing these things by yourself. And slowly, that's when they start withdrawing the dependency that you had on them. Withdrawing everything that made that relationship perfect for you. They start withdrawing it. So, they flatter your friends and your relatives to get them on side. They isolate their victims by saying, oh, I just want to spend every moment of the day with you. I love being with you. And then they make you feel guilty if you don't want to spend every moment of the day with them. They demand an extreme amount of attention. And remember, emotionally stable people want time apart. If you're with somebody who says, oh, I really want to see you. You've already told them you've got your things to do. And then they're saying, I really want to see you. Or you tell them, okay, I'm going to see you. I can see you tomorrow after 5 o'clock. And then they come back and say, oh, I'm in that area. I'll be there at 2. Totally disregarding your boundaries. That's what they do. Start testing the boundaries. Start pushing the boundaries. So not only do you have somebody who's doesn't care about what you need to do and what you have to do, but you have somebody who's got an agenda to get you and all your time and everything that goes with you. Next thing you know, you don't have any hobbies. You've stopped doing everything you wanted to do because you're too busy with this man, trying to please him and trying to keep the peace. They try to make themselves indispensable. They create mutual dependency. They can be obsessed with your ex. Sex bombing. Yeah, a lot of narcissists, they claim to be great in bed. And what they'll do is they'll either tell you how great they're going to satisfy you, what they're going to do with your body and all of this, or they will be good in bed. And once they've sex bombed you and you're caught in and you're thinking, oh my God, it's the best thing since sliced bread, you're not going to want to leave them. So not only have they got you depending on them in every aspect, money, emotions, friendships, they've also got this way of satisfying you that is quite addictive. And even that they withdraw unless they want it. You think now you've got a good thing and everybody wants sex. Men always want sex. A love bomber or a narcissist, they choose when they want to have sex. They get you into this rhythm of wanting it all the time, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm not in the mood. If you want it, you take it, or whatever they say or do. But they start withdrawing slowly. Moral compass will enable you to keep on track in this kind of way. I want to see you, but I've got to do this. So when a love bomber is saying, look, I miss you, baby. I want to spend every moment of the day with you. I don't want to let you out of my sight. Love you, baby. You have to be able to say to them, look, I really appreciate the fact that you want to spend time with me. But I've got this to do, that to do, and this to do. I can see you tomorrow evening. I can't see you this evening. Or I can see you the day after tomorrow. I just can't see you this evening. I love me, baby. You don't miss me. You don't miss me. Yes, I miss you, but I've got... So if you miss me, why you don't want to see me? because I've got things to do, so them things are more important than me. That's a lot. They love saying that. When you like something, is that more important than me? Don't get dragged in. Say, yes, it is. It's more important than you. And then they'll probably say, you don't mean that. You can't mean that. So, love bombers do not have a compass. They enjoy the high of love. They lack awareness of what a relationship needs. They're not interested in building something sustainable. They don't have emotional stability. A love bomber who is insecurely attached loves too easily, too fast, and too deeply. And I don't know if it's a myth or whether it's true, love at first sight. I tend to think love can be, there is such a thing as love at first sight. But I do believe that, it can go skew if there is abuse, or if there is other kind of traumas or childhood, adolescent problems or attachment issues. But I do believe, people say it's a myth, but I do believe in love at first sight. I think for me, it's only happened once. But yeah, I do believe in it. But they say it's a myth. But the thing is, I think they say it's a myth because you can love somebody and have the infatuation and you can get caught up in the whirlwind. But when those challenges come, or if you've chosen wrongly because you've got caught up in the whirlwind, that's not really love. It's like that 5% that you saw that you believed was the 95%. Or you believe that 95% is what you want. And so you've fallen in love with the 5%. And you've ignored the 95% for now. And then when the 95% presents itself, then you think, oh my God, I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know that, this, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's what sometimes happens. But that love doesn't have to last forever, does it? So I don't know. I think you can love at first sight. It just doesn't last as long. It's just not a forever love. And we have these different types of love. We have agape love, which is unconditional love. And I can't think of the other types of love. But you have different types of love. You have brotherly love, I think one of them is. And sisterly love. But I believe you can love and give it everything you've got, but it doesn't have to last forever. So I'm going to dispute that. They're saying it's mythical, love at first sight. I'm saying it's not. I believe it exists. A love bomber who, I already said this. Okay, anything that feels that good, that fast, has the potential to let us down because it's based on emotions, not true compatibility. And they say anything that looks too good to be true usually is. But I don't know. Sometimes I beg to differ. And the thing is, even if it looks too good to be true, you can always check it out. You can always try and get evidence. You can be curious. You can ask questions. You can share information. So you should be able, not because it looks too good to be true, you just say, oh, it's no, that's too good to be true. I'm not even going there. No, it might be what it is. If I was interested in a relationship right now, a guy came into the shop today. Now, he was I think he was the manager of a football team. I'm not going to tell you which one, because I don't want to give his identity away. But he's a manager of a football team. He's got a big 4-bedroom house, and he telling me he drives a Mercedes, and he's a white guy, and he's got all of this music. What did he call it? Classical ska. And he was saying, I can get you music and I can do this. And, I've got this big house and blah, blah, blah. And I was just thinking, if I was that way inclined, if I was interested you can see how you can. What was I talking about when I'm talking about this? Oh, anything that seems too good to be true. Right. So he came in to the shop, and he's quite established. He's worked with Gordon Ramsay. He's runs a Michelin restaurant. He's really a credible person. So all I'm saying is that it just takes a little bit of investigation to find out whether that was too good to be true. It might not be for me, but he might be approaching someone else, and they might think it's too good to be true and blow it out the water when it's a genuine individual. So that's why I'm saying it's not everybody that's too good to be true, and it's not everybody who declares certain things to you is false, or you shouldn't take them seriously. All you've got to do is do your homework. It's very easy to feel as though you've met the man or woman of your dreams when you get extreme romantic gestures, excessive compliments. But when you get, it's very easy to feel as though you've met the man of your dreams. But when you get extreme romantic gestures, excessive compliments, calling, stalking, dependency too quickly, that's a red flag. Anything that feels too good to be that fast has the potential to let us down because it's based on emotions, not true compatibility. I did say that before. Love grows. It doesn't start. That's what Matt Hussey said. Love grows. It doesn't start. In other words, when you meet somebody, love can be present, but it's how it grows over time, how you nurture it, how you develop it, that turns it into a larger form of love. I believe love is there anyway, but it starts from a seed, and then you water that seed through time, through spending time together, and through forgiveness, and through understanding, and through compassion. That's how you water the love, and then after a while it develops in something sustainable and something long lasting. So don't assume a level of intensity, measure consistency over intensity. So rather than take on somebody who's declaring all this love, how consistent is their behavior? I want to spend all this time with you. I want to be with you. I don't want anybody else but with you. But then, maybe you ask them to do something, they don't do it, or maybe they don't call you when you've asked them to turn your call, whatever it is. You have to look for consistency to go with the actions. That's what I'm saying. And also, what's interesting is that with love bombers, if you go missing, okay, with the love bombers, like I said, they demand your attention. They're very, very needy. They allegedly want to spend time with you every minute of the day. They want to spend it with you. Now, supposing you decide, look, I'm going to go out with my friends, and you decide not to tell him. It's a new relationship. You don't have to tell him everything. So you've gone off with your friends. Is he going to run down your phone and call you 10, 20 times, wondering where you are? How come you didn't tell him where you were going? Didn't you see his messages on the phone? Why didn't you call him back? Red flag. That's not good. Especially in new relationships. You need to be able to say to your partner, look, I'll see you on Thursday. Say it's a Monday. I'll see you on Thursday. And they're happy with that. They're not running you down every 5 minutes to say, oh, I can't wait till Thursday. Can't wait to see you. So what time you going to see you? What time you can get over here? You can get here any earlier. You don't tell them, say you're going to see them at 7 o'clock. You can't get here any earlier. I want to see you now, baby. I want to see you. I'm dead for see you. We don't want somebody who's obsessed. Haven't they got nothing to do? And then it's worse when they don't have nothing to do because they expect you to be their full-time job. You need people who are busy, who have got a life, who are self-sufficient, who don't need you 24/7. They don't need to be calling you all the time. It can be flattering. It's nice to know that somebody wants to see you. It's nice to know that somebody misses you. But when it's excessive, it's unhealthy. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't say that you miss somebody. But when it's pressured and when it's rushed, and that's what love bombers tend to do. They tend to rush it. It's almost like they're trying to rope you in. They always have some form of urgency, that they want to get you in. It's almost like they think that if they don't do it now, they haven't got the chance tomorrow. So they need to get you as quickly as possible. They need to get you in their grips. If they can get you in bed and have sex with you, all the better. Because at that point, they demand loyalty. So, if you go missing, they go quiet, they can get upset, incessant calling, overstep boundaries. And yeah, that's another thing they might do. They might not even say anything. They might just stonewall you. They might just go silent. And some love bombers, especially when the relationship is new and you're all loved up and you're kissing and you're dancing or whatever it is you're doing together, and they'll say to you, I'm sure your friends are jealous of us. I'm sure their boyfriend doesn't treat them as nice as I treat you. They start that little game. Why are they comparing your relationship with somebody else's? It's negative. It's not necessary. Relationship starts quickly to create a psychological and emotional dependency, and then it flips to anger, resentment after a while. So identify the red flags with a love bombing: sense of urgency, trying to hurry up the relationship, casual references about marriage, children, shared property, business partnership very early on. The objective is to make you feel special, but if their words do not match their actions, it means lack of integrity. They say what you want to hear, and they flip sides when they think you're on a different side. So if you have some, I think I've said this already, but if you say that, suppose now I said that he comes home from work and he says, I hate, let me think what I can say. I hate zoos. They stink. All those animals, I can't stand them. And then you say, oh, that's a shame. I really love zoos. Then they would say, a love bomber would say, well, maybe it's a zoo that I went to that time. It wasn't a very nice zoo. It wasn't in this country anyway. It was out in the boondocks somewhere. I do like zoos normally, but I had an experience at that zoo that really turned me off. But I can't say I don't like zoos. I do. But it was that zoo. So they just switch it so that they're in alignment with you. They agree with you. And that is the goal. So that they agree with you on as many things as possible so that this is the narcissistic love bomber, so that you are on their side and they can take control over you. Because you notice most people say, oh, I've got so much in common. Everything, we're on the same page. That's love bombing. When every single thing that you say, oh, I like that. Oh, do you like that? Oh, I do that. And they can't keep it up because it's not real. They don't really like it. It's a mirage, or whatever they call it. They give you the impression that they're trying to save you. They mirror your wishes and your dreams. They inquire into your shortcomings, regrets, bad decisions, and then they throw it in your face later if you're lucky. Real love is unconditional. Love is love despite flaws. So when you love somebody, regardless of an individual's flaws, you're still going to love them. Flaws help you develop into a better person and also helps build the love relationship. Love bombing is conditional and carries an on-off switch just in case. You get the silent treatment if you don't do what they want. There's no self-trust. Love is not about controlling, but love bombing is. Love bombing lasts around 1 to 3 months. It can last a bit longer until they get bored, or if they get found out, or if they backpedal because things didn't go right. Love bombers make promises but can't live up to them. Love bombers present the most intensely perfect version of themselves, which makes you develop feelings, and then they disappear. No one can live up to the image the love bomber presents over a long period of time. So they've created this image that they're going to do everything for you, pay your rent, do this, do that, do that. And they can't keep it up. And then all of a sudden they start making excuses. Oh, I've lost my job. Oh, this has happened. Oh, my daughter, she needs this and I can't pay the rent this week. I can't pay that bill this month, or whatever. Everything they do, they slowly withdraw it. Oh, I did say I was going to do the garden, but, I've done my back in and I'm really not into it. I did say I was going to give you £100 to buy that bag, but this has happened and I can't do that anymore. I did say I was going to take you to do your nails, but this has happened, so it's off, I'm afraid. And it never comes back on. So, don't compare relationship. What looks glamorous on the outside is usually new. Over time, it gets more sedate and consistent. No one can live up to the image of a love bomber. Presents itself over a long period of time. I think I've said that. Anyone who gives an unjustified amount of love and attention too quickly, be wary. Anyone who gives you an unjustified amount of love, compliments, promises, and attention too quickly, be wary, unless they're an Aries. Rapid space leaves no time to reflect or modify your expectations. So when they're rushing you and saying, look, I really want us to get married. I really want us to get together. I really want us to go out on this date. I really want to meet up with you. I really want to sleep with you. When they're rushing you, you have to be careful. Because when they're rushing you, you're so, like I said, you're so caught up in the whirlwind. It doesn't give you time to reflect or think about what you want. Yes, we all want relationships. Well, the majority of us do. And we want relationships that are loving and affectionate and considerate. And when that appears on your doorstep and it comes so full on, and you're like, yeah, no, I've got to take a step back. Because what is going on here? So, and it doesn't give you a chance to say, okay, yes, I do want a relationship, but do I want this relationship? Why does this pressure make me feel uncomfortable? Why does the pace make me feel uncomfortable? What is it? And just hone in on your intuition and on your feelings and see what happens. Because your intuition is your best compass. So someone delivering on the actions over time is what gives credibility to those earlier declarations, compliments and promises. To avoid love bombing, ask questions, substantiate, seek evidence, be curious, trust yourself and your intuition. Someone who claims to love you needs to know you and your flaws, not who they think you are. Not everyone is who they present themselves to be. Learn their strengths, weaknesses, flaws, imperfections. And when they say to you, I love you and I'll never leave you, you're the one I want, ask them, what is it about me that you like? We've only known each other a couple of months. What is it about me that you like or that you claim to love? Healthy people see your value despite your imperfections. Love bombers replace you No, love bombers replace who you really are with an idealized version of who they think you are or who they want you to be. And I don't know how many of you women have sometimes when their man said, "Well, we can tell you is a decent somebody, you know. We can tell you is a nice woman, a very, very nice woman. I can tell you're kind and you're considerate." They're telling you who you are, you know. They don't know you, they just met you. But that's what love bombers do. They try to, and so that you feel forced to stay in that identity that they've given you, because that's how that person perceives you, and it's not who you are. So you know who you are, you know what you want, and if you get love bombed, just say to them, you know, what is the rush? I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here. So what is the rush? Oh, well, we don't know if we're going to get locked down, or we don't know if there's going to be a war, or we don't know if whatever excuse. Just be careful. You know, like I said, there are people who are genuine, but I'm just talking about those who it just doesn't feel right. And like I said, I don't know any Aries, well, I don't know all Aries, but I don't think Aries are love bombers, but they could be perceived as love bombers through the untrained eye. Because like I said, they carry a lot of the traits of the love bombers because they love deep and they love quickly. And it's genuine. It's not a joke. They're not playing games. So try not to get the two confused. If you meet a love bomber, oh, what star sign are you? Anyway, that's all for now. Bye-bye.